Los Angeles Chargers are one of those teams that came in with such high expectations, and unfortunately, things fizzled out as the 2023 NFL season went on. Brandon Staley is no longer the coach, which is probably a good thing for the organization as a whole. We're going to break down the 2023 season, some of the statistics, and some of the main players as well, and also give a preview for the 2024 offseason in the second half of the video. So be sure to stick around and watch that. Before we get into the kind of season recap, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the postseason, so any help is much appreciated. Ryan, let's pull up the slide here. And the Chargers, just as a whole, it's just another frustrating season, I would say, for Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert specifically, because I think he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Maybe top 10 for sure. I think maybe top 5 is debatable. And I think he's got a good offensive line around him. He had good receiving weapons, and they added on to the team as well. For Quinn Johnson, you can make an argument. Maybe it wasn't the best pick, but still, they're trying, so we're trying to see how things pan out. Defensively, I think they have a lot of good defensive weapons, and then Brandon Staley just couldn't really do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, first off, moving on from Brandon Staley, we'd been talking about him being the head coach there for how long? Or him not being the head coach there for at least a season.
This is our 4th offseason that we're getting into for this channel. And it's probably the every single offseason.
Yeah, the 3rd or 4th offseason.
I think we've been saying he's got to go.
I'm curious how much longer he will last, because he continually hurt that team. And then also, I think you look at the offensive side of the ball, just the mass amount of injuries. Austin Eckler missed time. Jordan Palmer missed time. Mike Williams obviously tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen is going to be 32 or 33 in this 32. And so he's getting to the end of his career there. And I think the Quentin Johnson pick was just kind of a little bit of a desperation throw, because I think you look at the pass catchers and in that room, and Mike Williams is a little bit of a one-trick pony. And Keenan Allen is getting older. The other guys are good complementary pieces, but I think they really wanted that guy, and they thought Quentin Johnson could be that guy. But going back and looking at his tape, and he's a physical specimen for sure, but I really just don't see what they saw in him to really become that first-round pick, just in terms of how well-rounded his game was.
Well, and also,
at that time.
Let's quickly just address guys that they passed up on. They took Quentin Johnson, 21st overall, passed up on Zay Flowers, passed up on
Jordan Addison.
And then let's move on here. Jonathan Mingo
was in this class.
I think Jonathan Mingo, would have been interesting. They passed up on Jaden Reed, which he's paying out well. Rashee Rice is paying out well in Kansas City. Some of those you could say are offensive systems. I like the offensive systems that they are in. And so Tank Dell, Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs, Michael Wilson. Not saying that these guys would have panned out well in the Charger system, but they have had really good rookie seasons. Puka Nacua, as you mentioned. I think Parker Washington and A.T. Perry are 2 guys that, with the teams that they're on, the Jaguars and the Saints, I think are going to have opportunities to continue to grow. And you're right. It's they took Quentin Johnson as a second receiver overall. And I think kind of as we were saying on this channel, at least my opinion of it was he was just a project. He's got all the freakish capabilities, but would you really want to spend a first-round pick on him when – and honestly, too, imagine Zay Flowers in this offense with his speed, and then you have the consistency of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and then your X receiver on the outside. I think that would have been kind of lethal. But I'll be fully admit, though, I wasn't super high on Zay Flowers coming in.
I liked him a lot.
I know you did, and you were right. So only time will tell if Quentin Johnson will win out. But I think it was just another instance, though, of this Brandon Staley kind of regime just not doing the right thing in the right time, whether it be on the field or off the field. And particularly, too, you go look at this passing defense as well. It's their secondary just as a whole was atrocious. And I like some of the pieces that they have in the secondary, like Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. And you go look at Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, and the way they were one of the top teams in sacks this season. But for some reason, they just could not stop offenses, and they gave up so many passing yards.
Mhm.
And I think their run defense honestly actually improved. That's something that they had struggled with, so they did improve in that area. But you can make an argument that it's because teams knew that they could throw the ball all over them. So
Yeah.
uh, I will say this. I think, and maybe I'm biased because I'm a Falcons fan, if you couldn't tell, but I think the Chargers might be one of the most attractive head coaching spots because you just go look at the overall talent. You already have your bona fide stud of a quarterback in Justin Herbert. You do still have Keenan Allen, who is coming towards the end, but you still have a young overall core group of guys that have a lot of potential in the receiving room and offensive line as well with Rashawn Slater as your left tackle. Joey Bosa is your superstar edge rusher that every team needs nowadays. Khalil Mack's still there. Derwin James is still going to be there. Asante Samuel Jr. also. Like, those are some big names, and you're going to be coming into that. So, and now on top of that, you have a top 5 pick. You can go and get Brock Bowers. You can add on to that room. If you wanted to maybe be aggressive, trade up and try to go get Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, I think that would be kind of tough to do. Considering what the Commanders, Bears, and Patriots are all going to be needing. So we'll have to see. But Brock Bowers is going to be there. I think he would fit in perfectly for this team. And so it's going to be very interesting, I think, to see what the Chargers end up doing this offseason. Let's kind of move to that. That's a good segue here. I think one area that is actually going to really hurt them is going to be that cap space. As of right now, according to Spot Track, we are recording this on January 8th. So this number might change a little bit depending on when you watch this and what the estimated cap is at that time. But they're going to be well into the negative. So I think some of these guys that we're seeing here, key free agencies, guys, they're not going to be coming back. I think Austin Eckler has played his last down with the Chargers. I think he is getting up there a little bit in age, but also, too, running backs are very replaceable nowadays, unfortunately. And so I think they can go get an Austin Eckler replacer in this upcoming draft, or potentially even in the free agency market for maybe a little bit cheaper than what he would like. So in general, though, when it comes to team needs, how I look at it, want to hear your thoughts. I do think they could maybe beef up the interior on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I think that's where it'll help them out in the run game on both sides of the ball. I do think maybe adding another receiving threat, I have receiver and tight end there. Those are kind of interchangeable. They got Brock Bowers. I think that would fill that need. So, and then defensively, and I don't have it on there, I think just overall defensive depth outside of that defensive tackle spot here. But they're not too crazy when it comes to their overall draft picks. They have one pick in every single round outside of the 7th. So they have a late comp pick, which is what is being projected as of right now. So Chargers are going to be in a very fascinating spot here. And I know kind of want to throw it over to you here because you have a theory about just kind of where your Patriots head coach might potentially go here. And Bill Belichick potentially could be a potential spot for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of head coach destinations, as you said, this one's probably the most attractive just because they have that quarterback spot figured out. But I think you look at some of the defensive pieces. Bill Belichick coached Asante Samuel Jr. is a part of this team. Then you have 2 elite edge rushers in Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. I do think Bill Belichick would do a great job of shoring up this run defense in no time. And then from there, on the offensive side of the ball, just establishing a run game, I think, is something that Bill Belichick would definitely want to do, and bringing in one of his many offensive coordinators from around the league, I think is going to be something that would definitely be possible. And I think they could get this team right on track, especially I think you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, the Denver Broncos, and the Las Vegas Raiders. None of those teams, more specifically in reference of the Kansas City Chiefs, are looking like the world beaters that they once were. And I do think in 2024, if the Chargers make the correct moves here, I say moves is in plural because I think the head coach is one move, and I think they need to make a few others just personnel-wise to solidify this team. But if they make the correct moves, I think they could be right up there in contention for this division. The Chiefs won it at 11-6, I believe. But really they got lucky in a few wins. That Chiefs team is not the dominant team that they were of last year and the years before. So they have an opportunity here to really make a big splash. And yeah, to me, they got to get rid of all that negative cap and kind of rearrange things. But this is a great destination with good weapons, and most importantly, they have the quarterback already solved. So
yeah. Chargers, they're just always going to be a team, I think, coming into the season for us to watch. You have to put it as a team like I think they can, when healthy, can beat anybody just with the talent that they have on the field. They just, I don't think Brandon Staley really put them in consistent positions to succeed. And when they were in those positions, they always found a way to blow it. So
yeah,
we'll see though. This offseason is going to be very interesting for the Chargers and what they're able to do.
yeah, no. So all in all, I mean, oh, we lost Tyler. I don't know what that was, but all in all, I really think the Chargers are just an interesting destination. And coming off a really disappointing season, I think they could definitely get a coach that could come in and maybe surprise some people for how bad this season was. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of the Chargers 2023 season. While you're down there, smash that notification bell to get notified when Tyler and I create new content. We have a ton of new off-season content coming out between now and the NFL draft. So go ahead and do that, and we will see you guys next time.